think the Mahdi plays a very big role still today, because Sudan now is divided into two political parties in a traditional sense. So you've got the Mahdi party, which is known as the Ummah party, and then you've got the Democratic Union party, which is known as the Marqani party. And it's also split along not just political, but also different religious sects as well. And although they're not ruling the country, but their presence is still felt. And like the name Mahdi, everyone, they command respect, and they have a lot of land and a lot of riches and stuff like that. Unfortunately, now the head of the Ummah party is the grandson of the original Mahdi. And he sort of destroyed his grandfather, and especially his father's legacy.
And they are using, the condition that Mahdi was one of those who were able to unite Sudanese and fight against the colony. And they're really misusing this, this concept. They are misusing it, and to me, they are still enslaving in indirect way many Sudanese people.
As much as you find people who actually just hid the name of Mahadis in Sudan, you find people who are actually still strongly supporting the Mahadist revolution, which is very true. So it's still a dividing case in Sudan.
It depends on the areas where you are in Sudan. Like, I'm from Nuba Mountain, which is a region in South Sudan, in south part of Sudan. So there, Mahdi is our enemy. Throughout the history, he did nothing good for us. So he's been enslaving our families, he's been our ancestors.
I'm not only just talking about it and being biased on the sense that my great-grandfathers from both sides of my mom and my dad were actually part of the movement, but I'm just looking at it as a movement and as a person, and I see him as a person who came to free people from a culture that has enslaved them, and he was a man who tried to again enrich back the society with the right attitude and with the right understanding, especially of Islam, because Islam back then it started to take a different routes. And the most important thing that mattered to me is he united Sudan, something that's not ever has happened after.
We can see very clear the British term in the British time, while the back home is most goldest time. In British time, we do have a lot of development. Actually, we have the system study or the education study. We have the health study. We have the post system or mail system. We have the railway. We have all these things. It has been built. Actually, the civil service, most of it has been built on that time. And unfortunately, after the British government they left Sudan, all these things is taken down. The system has been corrupt and everything went down.
Despite the fact of colonization, still the English rule is much better than the Mahdist rule, because people thought that Mahdist rule will bring justice, will bring quality, but what was happened is worse. That's why the Mahdist rule after Khartoum falling and after the Mahdist death, and Khalifa took the rule after Mahdi's death. That's the worst part in the history of Sudan, because what he did, he conducted a very bad system of tax collections, humiliation of people. People died because of disease and famines and all this kind of stuff. So that's the darkest period on history of Sudan.
After nearly 60 years of trauma and civil wars, the view now probably in Sudan is that the British period had been a period of relative stability, of incremental development, and rather relatively free of the kind of civil war we see today.